Sync everything. Right, we're live. Thanks for jumping on, man.
Thanks for having me.
What a spot. What a spot. How what made you want to have a look and like buy and build something like this?
I didn't really think about building something like this at first. We were just looking for property, and I've got a few friends around the river, and we visited them a few times. I was like, it was like a hidden little gem which we didn't really know about, and I was like, let's start looking around there.
Yeah, right.
So here we are.
What did you always want like outdoor kitchen style deals?
Yeah, I've always kind of just been like, camping, cooking over fire. So I guess when we got this place and I saw the potential and saw the bit of place, I thought, well, fuck it, let's build a outdoor kitchen.
Yeah, right. It's pretty specky. Like you got the whole kit. Like, and this isn't your primary residence right now, yeah?
Not yet, until next month.
Yeah, right. Looking forward to it.
Can't wait.
Yeah, right. Where did I guess the name sort of makes sense, Bush River Kitchen, but where'd that concept come from?
Well, I've stuck in Sydney for the last 13, 14 years.
Yep.
And we bought this place during COVID and everything was going to shit. And I guess it just naturally happened. It didn't really, nothing was planned. I just kind of thought, I want an outdoor kitchen. I'll start putting some things in, and I guess we're across the river, so I did a lot of fishing, crabbing. We're in the Bush River Kitchen. And it was just supposed to be just a kitchen to cook for mates and that sort of stuff, but it kind of,
It's evolved now over the last few years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like where it is, like it's easy to get to. There's a river across the road. You got plenty of hunting, like not far north of here, all that sort of stuff. And you're on like 3 acres in all natural bushland, heaps of wildlife, all that sort of stuff. Unreal. Have you had a lot of interest with the kitchen itself, like, and what you're doing here events-wise and stuff?
Yeah, there's been a lot. I guess since I started building it, I guess social media, I just always started sharing stuff, and then people were like, what are you doing? Started asking questions. And it just happened from there. Like, I didn't plan on doing anything, really. I just wanted an outdoor kitchen for myself. And then, it just slowly over time, especially through COVID, everyone wanted to get out of Sydney and want to do other things. I shut the bakery down, and then I just thought, well, fuck it, let's do a plan B, and made this my plan B.
Seems like it's a fucking good plan. I had a question for that, and I completely forgot about it. I know what it was. It's pretty interesting. Like I know a very broad overview of your story. Like you built your career and reputation, because you're a chef. You did your apprenticeship in Australia, and then you moved overseas to the UK.
Yep.
Is that correct? And then you're a patissier.
Yeah, I started in a patisserie in Sydney. In Southern Highlands, down south. And then as soon as I finished that, went straight overseas to England and did Europe, and just got into restaurants.
Yeah, okay. And what was the driver for going to the UK?
Just wanted to get the fuck out of Australia at the time.
Had enough?
Oh, at the time, grew up, a lot of shit happened, and just wanted to kind of get out. Just get out. So
yeah, right.
That's what happened.
Do you, was it a good decision, do you think, to do what you did?
Definitely.
Yep.
Made me really appreciate the things I had, and really, I grew a lot from that experience. So,
what do you think that moving there, and I assume like the caliber of bakeries, patisseries, restaurants, all that sorts of stuff over there, like you have access to a lot more like high-end dining and stuff than you would here, probably at the time too. Do you think that like skyrocketed or really fast-tracked your career as a chef?
Yeah, it was a good kind of change. As I said, the patisserie I kind of did my apprenticeship. It was great patisserie, great base skills and everything that I needed. So when I went there, it was just kind of felt a bit natural. And when I got into restaurants, it just felt natural as well.
Yep. So you went from, because it's both in the food industry, I guess, but the contrast, I guess, from patisserie / bakery or whatever to restaurant dining is quite different, I would assume.
Yeah, I started on pastry in restaurants, like did a lot of pastry work, but then kind of, because you're kind of in the restaurant game, so it's like you're not just doing pastry, it's kind of a bit of everything.
Yeah, okay. And, sorry, you're right.
No, that's pretty much where I learnt pretty much everything I had about cooking from the restaurants.
And what was the driver to bring you back to Australia?
Australia's pretty good. I think it's just the area I grew up in. You know, I didn't want to be there anymore, so I was just kind of had to get out of there and just needed some time alone and figure out what I needed.
You seem like the kind of man that doesn't mind a bit of like, you don't like to settle too long in places, sort of thing, or haven't liked to.
Haven't for a while.
Yeah, and I guess now you found your little spot, I guess.
Yeah.
What there's a drastic contrast between a European or UK working patisserie restaurant style chef to coming back into Australia. You cook a lot of wild game, you hunt, you're an outdoorsman, you're into your spearfishing and fishing and the bush and all that sort of stuff. So have you always been that way, or did you develop that interest over after you got back?
I've grown up spearfishing, fishing quite a young age, and then I always did. I was hunting from about the age of 16. So before I went to England and all that sort of stuff, I was always hunting. Would have kind of like a boys' trip, you know, once a year or twice a year to a property out in Orange and hang out. Would always go shooting. Nothing was kind of full-on hunting or anything at the time, but yeah, as soon as I got back from England, got back into the spearfishing heavily, and you know, they were the things I missed, I guess, the most. And the hunting just kind of happened as well.
Did you do any over in the UK?
I did a bit of fishing and spearfishing.
Yep.
But no hunting.
Yeah, okay. Because they wouldn't have a great deal. Like, I'd suppose you'd have to travel east, northeast, or Scotland to hunt reds.
Well, I was living in London for 4 years and did nothing with my life apart from work, and then got over that and went down to Cornwall and moved down there. Yep. And that's where I was doing a lot of fishing and spearfishing. What's
the fishery, just out of curiosity, because I know fuck all about it, like, what's the fishery like there down south?
Yeah, it's quite nice on the Cornwall coast, but very much like the Scotland coast and all that sort of stuff. They thought they were, you know, apart from England, they weren't part of it, and the Cornish.
Yep.
But yeah, it was quite beautiful down there. If it was nice weather, you'd probably stay there, but it wasn't. But the fish was quite good. Like, I was still in restaurants then at the time, and got to know a lot of the local fishermen, and they take us out and all that sort of stuff as well, which was quite good on the trawlers and the boats, the crabbing boats.
What species and stuff are you targeting there, online or on spear?
We did a lot of the pollock online.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they were quite a good one. The sea bass, and then they'll get in the Dungeness crabs and the crays, the lobsters.
Yum. What fish wise, like, how does that compare to the fish we get here off the coast?
Nothing.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
We're pretty spoiled here.
Yeah. Didn't think so. What when you came back, like, did you come back into, like, you're in the sort of commercial higher end restaurant game in the UK, you came back to Australia. Did you stay in that game for a period of time before you sort of built what you've built now?
Yeah, I did for quite a while. I had a good friend over there I met and lived with, and he come back and got a job as a head chef and wanted me as a sous chef in a Japanese restaurant. So he kind of demanded me to come be his sous chef. So I got back in, just that was full restaurant, so I wasn't doing pastry at the time. And then after that, we kind of went into more back into patisserie and back and forth to restaurants, and then decided to open my own.
Yeah, right. I think it's like a recurring theme, I guess, with guys, because I know a few higher end chefs that are in the restaurant game these days, but like the common story or the commonality, I guess, is like it's a fucking hard slog from an apprentice for the first like 5 to 10 years. Like, a lot of the boys said, like the boys that I know said, like, your 20s are spent like absolutely slogging like 14, 15, 18 hour days and shit.
Yeah.
Is that the reality?
Yeah. That didn't change at all.
And why is that the case? Like, is there benefit to that at that point in time in your life as a chef for a career, I mean?
I guess, you know, when you're young, you kind of want to learn as much as possible. So even on your spare time, you'd go to stage at places just to learn different things. So that was pretty much my days off in London, or even in Australia, or wherever I went. I would go, on my time off, I'd go stage at different places, restaurants, patisseries, you name it.
And obviously, well, there's obviously value in that. You learn a lot of skills. Was it worth it for you doing that for that period of your life, and do those skills basically transfer into what you're doing?
Definitely
now.
Yeah. So yeah, everything I've learnt in those years, I bring back to what I'm doing now. So there's always something that I'll bring back into the way I'm cooking now.
What with, because you obviously like do a lot of like, obviously like chefy style, restaurant style, fine dining style stuff, but you play with a lot of wild harvest, like game, and you do a lot of like foraging stuff too.
Yep.
Yeah, and so what made you decide to tap into that? Because it's pretty niche, and like obviously wild game in itself, people are like you get the anti-hunters and all that sort of stuff, but then you get the people that like, oh, it's too gamey and it's lean and it's
But that's
tough.
I guess the one thing in Europe, everyone ate wild game. It was on every menu. Like they would go foraging, it was just part of it. And coming back to Australia, you don't see any of it. Like, they're all eating the wild boar, they're eating venison, squab, pigeon, they're, you name it, they're eating it. And we're just, no, I don't eat that shit. We don't eat that shit. It's just very behind. So that kind of made me do it more, I guess, because I love eating it. Once you've had it, I think, and you've experienced it, there's no turning back.
I can 100% attest to that. Just like even, I don't know, it doesn't taste bad, I don't reckon. And the stories that you tell from the trips that you do to get the game and like to harvest, I've never foraged, but I love the concept. But like wild game harvesting, hunting and stuff, for me, like there's so much more than just the meat at the end of the day. It's like you can pull a piece of meat out of the freezer 3 months later and go, I can tell you the whole entire story of like the last 3 days of this animal's life and how the interaction between us or me and it. And I think people lack that. Why do you think the culture in Australia for that stuff is so far behind?
I guess we've been, I don't know why it is. Compared to Europe, like it's crazy how different it is. Like we've come from kind of Europe, but
Europe's an older country, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. They've been, thousands of years of, Australia is very young and, well, the Aboriginals have been here for God knows how long, and they were always hunter-gatherers.
Yeah.
Where we were just convicts, so.
Yeah, I guess.
Some people had it, some people didn't have it.
Yep.
That was one of those things, I think.
Do you find it like I guess with the skills and knowledge and understanding that you have like an obligation, like a personal obligation? Fuck, they're loud when you hit those things. They're like a tin can. When do you find it like an obligation, like a personal obligation for yourself to make sure, like to deliver that message and to share and try and build that in Australia to get more people engaged in wild game, wild harvest, eating, dining?
100%. As I said, I've been living in Bondi for the last 13, 14 years, so every time I have a barbecue and invite all my friends, it'll be wild game on the barbecue.
Yep.
So you'd start the conversation there.
Yep.
And, it was always non-stop.
Sorry?
No, if I was cooking, it would always be something wild game.
Did you have much pushback and stuff? Like, I assume you came back and like not everybody in your friend circle and stuff ate game or understood it or understood hunting even. Was that a hard slog for you to try and sort of bring them into the fold?
Most people have been pretty good. There's always those, pencil pushers on bloody Instagram and Facebook that'll give you shit over the internet, but that faded out over a couple of years. But when I got back and started posting about it and all that sort of stuff, the amount of abuse you get, but just fucking move on and, they fade out eventually and get the good people in. So that's where I'm trying to focus, not care about that anymore.
100%. And like, I think one thing that I've noticed that Australia lacks is that there's a whole industry there. Like, we're a bit fucking left and short-sighted and narrow-minded and behind the times in regards to like the wild game, talking meat in specifically and talking venison, I guess, because we've got a lot of deer species here.
Yeah,
I feel like we're way behind the times with. There's a huge opportunity industry wise there for wild game to be in butcher shops, to be a part of, and I think that's probably part of the reason that we are so far behind as a nation.
Yeah, I think it's starting to. You're seeing it more. There's a lot of companies that are going out there and doing it now, that are doing the ethically harvested venison and all that sort of stuff and putting it through, trying to get it through restaurants, and it's good to see. But yeah, there's still a lot to do, I think. But there's so much out there that we should be putting on the menu and bringing home instead of flying helicopters up and shooting them and letting them rot.
that's a whole another bloody another bloody issue is the government's lack of ability to handle it properly because they don't understand it. Like,
No.
and they think like a person with a gun's the devil, like they're evil and all that sort of stuff. It's not the case, and the people that know hunting understand that. So, do you think do you think there'll ever be a segue from, because obviously there's a lot of restaurants that serve venison and
Yep.
I'll just sit on venison because I have a reasonable understanding of it. Like,
Yeah, I think venison's the main one you'll see. If someone's going to serve something on a restaurant, it'll probably be venison.
yeah, venison, and because we're like heavily protective of our native species, obviously, so it makes it hard to really hunt them, and a lot of our native species are sort of threatened to a degree, so you sort of got to be a little bit careful anyway. But venison's probably a big one. But do you think it'll ever get to a point where it's in, like, I can go to the butcher shop, like it doesn't have to be a bespoke boutique butcher shop. I can go into an everyday. I can go to Coles, for example.
They're selling it in some supermarkets now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've seen Harris Farm. You know Harris Farm markets?
I do, yeah.
They're always selling venison there.
Yep.
I think even in IGA,
Yeah, right.
and they're always selling kangaroo and all that sort of stuff now as well.
Yep.
So I've seen you are seeing it a lot more in different shops, even the supermarkets.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know how big it is, but it's there. But
Yeah.
it's slowly.
Yeah, I've only ever seen kangaroo, but I'm up in northern Australia, so there's not a lot of that shit up our way really. Like, and chital deer, like I've never even. I'm 99% sure there's not a chital deer farm in Australia or anyone's wild harvesting.
Not that I know of.
Nah. I'll tap into the food side of it. Like, you obviously have to deal with it very different compared to beef and all that sort of stuff, but people complain that it's dry, it's tough, or it's gamey. How do you
not treated well?
Yeah, and do you treat? That's where I was going with it. I guess do you treat that both in the field and at the kitchen?
Yeah, definitely. So if I'm shooting at, depends where I am, I'll try to butcher it. If I have to butcher it on the spot, I'll butcher it on the spot. But you put it in your backpack. Depends how far you got to walk out. But I'll get it back on ice as quick as possible. I'll let it hang. Always let it hang 2 weeks minimum, depending on what cut. But 2 weeks minimum is like a base. And then from there, I'll butcher it and probably age it again. I'll hang it, like dry age it for 2 weeks, and then I'll bag it up and wet age it for maybe a couple more.
Yep. What's wet aging? Because I have absolutely no idea.
So just in a Cryovac bag where it's got its own liquid.
Oh, its own moisture. It's in its own moisture. Yep.
So it's not just hanging out to dry out.
Yep.
Where depends how you want to do it and how you want to hang it. Like a lot of people leave the skin on, or some people take the skin off. I've done both, and I just prefer to leave the skin on now because there's less wastage by the end of it.
Less wastage how?
So your skin kind of dries up, so there's a lot of offcuts you kind of get when you start cutting some of those back kind of steaks off. Huh. So I got more kind of motivated with leaving the skin on. It's less work at the time, but less wastage kind of later on.
And you're big on that too, obviously. Like you're a lot of people don't get the idea that hunters are conservationists and are all about sustainability and stuff too. So like you're pretty big on that too, I guess. And you apply that to your hunting, like you try and take as much as you can, and you're selective with your harvesting and all that sort of stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. It depends where we are, and I've got a lot of private properties, which I'm pretty lucky to have. So the farmers, if they want them gone, they want them gone. If we don't shoot them, they're going to send helicopters up. So if we have to, we'll try to take as much as we can and stock our rescues up and, take what we need. But we'll take younger animals and, we'll be selective.
Yep. Do you, with the hanging, because more my curiosity, but with the hanging thing, like, do you have a cold room and stuff that you do it with, or
just
do you
that fridge up on the veranda?
Yeah, right. You just take the shelves out and just hang them in there.
Yeah, I've got to cut a few things off, so I hook them up.
Oh yeah.
So I hook the legs up.
Yep.
It depends if I take a whole animal or just most times I'll take back legs off and hang back legs. Shoulders, I won't worry about hanging them because I'm going to mince them or I'm going to slow cook them. So there's no point of aging those. Same with shanks. Like there's a few cuts there where there's no point because there have to be a long slow braise to kind of break them down anyway. So there's no point aging them. I don't think
that makes sense.
Or if you're going to mince them, there's no point just mince them.
Yeah.
So the cuts I want to age are going to be steaks, and that'll all be from the back leg and the back straps and the tenderloins, which you don't really need to age the tenderloins, but if you can cut the kind of frame off from the ribs and that down to the back pelvis and just hang that whole, and then trim out the back straps later, or cut your cutlets out of it.
Yeah, right.
Which is quite nice.
Yep, that makes total sense. I'm fairly new to all this, but I'm dead against the whole people that come in and take back legs, back straps, and leave like 3/4 of the deer laying in the.
Yeah, there'll be sometimes I'll try to take all the shoulders if I can, but it depends where I put the placement.
Yeah, to a shot place.
Sometimes the shoulders are blown out, and if I can, I'll take it back just for dog food anyway.
Yep.
And I'll take ribs. I'll take out every now and then. Like depends how big the deer is. If it's a fallow, if it's a young one, there's probably no point. I'll take the back straps and the tenderloins and shoulders, back legs, and the neck. It's always a good one for a slow braise.
Yum. Love a good neck chop. Yeah, right. And you spend most of your time on fallow and then obviously reds. Like, what's your staple? Because like you obviously eat them a lot, so you're not hunting just the rut, right? You're hunting year round.
Oh, I like to go in 40-degree heat if I have to. I don't care. But yeah, fallow's my main. That's the properties I've got. They're always fallow. We've got reds on there as well, which we'll shoot them every now and then, but we'll probably usually wait for those ones. They're not as prolific as the fallow. So the fallow are the main ones we get.
What's your favourite type of deer to eat, type of venison to eat?
Well, everyone's got their own, and, there's always a fucking argument between this one's better than that one. It's like, I think if they're all treated properly and the same, I think it'd be hard to
tell the difference.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, right.
I've had a lot of arguments with people, but, Samba's the best. But I think treated well and treated correctly, it'd be interesting to put them all side by side and see the difference.
It's a cool concept because I've heard the same, and we were just talking off the line about like how I've eaten fallow and I've eaten chittle, but both cook very similarly.
Yeah.
Not by a chef, so fucks knows, but very similarly. Just backstraps, whole, seared, like seasoned and seared, and then sliced rare.
Yeah.
And then just eating them that way, and I think chittle tastes better. But I don't know if it was just circumstantial, right? Like I was super hungry on the day I ate chittle, and I wasn't super hungry on the day I ate.
Yeah, it's a hard one to kind of like. I think you need them all side by side. And I've had red, I've had samba and fallow side by side.
Yep.
I have definitely 100% the reds. I think are a bit different.
Yeah.
I've always had that experience, especially even the young spikers.
Yep.
We've had like some backstraps there that is a distinctive change.
Yeah. Right.
But fallow, samba, even samba, I think are very similar, done the same way. I've had some rusa, and I've had a couple of like the roe deer and that sort of stuff from Europe, and I thought they were very similar as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Have you hunted rusa before?
I've only shot like does.
Yep.
I've got plans on wanting to hunt them more.
I've got a real itch to scratch with those. Hey.
Yeah. I'm there at the moment. I'm like, that's on my list next after the cheetle.
They just got I don't know. It's such a unique deer, like super swampy. Always got like shit in their heads, and they got like that big gnarly like crown with all the little growths on it, and they get like super heavy. Hey. Like,
yeah. I've seen some pretty gnarly ones.
Yeah. I just spent the last week before last, or whatever it was, a couple of weeks ago, doing my head in on samba deer. I never realised, like, everyone said they're hard, and I believe everybody, like, with what they're saying, and the country you hunt them in is fucked up. Like,
I think that's the thing, the country is the hard part.
Man, the Victorian Highlands, like, all that bracken fern and shit, and you're like, oh, it's not that high, but the bracken fern's like 4 or 5 foot, like, it's up to your nipples sometimes. Yeah. And then they get in all that tea tree, and you can't see 2 foot in front of your face. We ended up finding, like, I'm bumping, like, 2 stags and a fair few hinds. Like, we maybe seeing 10 deer over 4 or 5 days a week, but I'm hunting with the bow, which obviously makes things even more complicated. But where they get to, like, and how such a fucking, because what are stags, like 250 kilos?
Samba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be 250 surely. I don't know, but they're fucking big.
Yeah.
And their ability to just sit and hide in that country, like, it makes them look like they belong there. Like,
I think they do.
Man.
Yeah, some of those deer are just built for it. It's like it's natural for them, and it is. But yeah, they're a bit harder than the old fallow and reds because they like the fringe country and the farmland, and you always see them in the open paddocks where you go down to Victoria and it's like, oh shit, this is thick. This is not going to be easy.
No, it's like, oh yeah, it's just across that ridgeline. Then you spend the next 6 hours walking just across that gully, and you spend the next 6 hours getting to the fucking thing. Absolute mission. What what's some of your most memorable hunts, trophy animals, all that sort of stuff? Any significant ones?
There's been a couple. There's been probably a couple out where we go the Upper Hunter. There's been a couple of good ones there with a mate, that have got some fallow. Have been pretty much hunts I remember for quite a while. I've done a trip to New Zealand, did a red and tar, which were amazing. Europe, I've been a few times and done. I've been lucky. My partner's from Europe, and she's got friends that hunt, or their parents that dads that hunt. So I've always gone out with people like that, and just something totally different. So I've done the roebuck a few times. Was in Sweden a couple of months ago with a kind of cousin now, so it took me out there, which was amazing. And yeah, I like those ones. They're just something different.
Yep. Have you always... So I'm keen to understand how you got into hunting in the first place. Is it just part of your upbringing or what?
Yeah, it's part of the upbringing. Guess who I went to school with, and yeah, as I said, I always spearfished, and had a few mates back in school that one of his dads lived out on a property, a couple of 1,000 acres, and every Easter long weekend would go there. That was part of it, and that was just involved hunting, and that's where it stuck. So that was it.
And I think that's like part of it. Hey, like most of the people that really enjoy hunting like have that childhood experience doing it, or it comes like semi late in life, and you start it, and you're like, holy fuck, this is amazing.
Well, I got into food after that. So when I got into food, and I was like, well, this is natural. Like, I'm shooting animals, amazing. So I started eating them then and there.
Yep.
Wasn't the best at cooking back then. It was just throw it on the fucking fire and eat it when you're drunk. But we had some good ones and bad ones, but that was it. And then the more I learnt, the more I, that was it. The more I kind of took care of it and started appreciating it and making the most of it.
Definitely. And like, I know there's not a lot of people that really like push the positive message about like hunting and like the value that it brings. Do you enjoy sharing like food, animals that you've killed, all that sort of stuff with people, with friends?
That's pretty much all I do. Yeah, if I'm cooking, I want to cook something that I want to cook, and I've hunted, I've ethically harvested, I've fished, I've speared, or whatever. It's just, the whole thing's just a better experience, and you can't buy that, I don't think. And that's what you try to teach people, and you can't pay for that experience.
No, 100%. And there's
you need to know someone.
Yeah, legit. And it's a whole different. It's almost two different. It definitely is two different types of dining, right? Like if you have your friends, because like I guess your friends still get the restaurant experience to a degree, but they also get the whole backyard barbecue, and the backstory to like where that piece of meat came from, that piece of fish or those plants or whatever else. I didn't know. I knew you were into spearfishing. I knew you'd done a bit of it, but I didn't know you were like hardcore into it for a number of years.
Yeah, quite a while. I've only slowed down the last probably year or two since I moved up here.
Oh, into the bush. Yeah, right. What you where were you off? You were in Sydney, and then where were you diving off there?
Northbourne. Like I had a couple of spots around Sydney, just pretty much. A lot of mates like a different little spot, so wherever they wanted to dive, or if I had someone local, I'd dive there. But we're in the water every day, every second day.
Unreal. So instead of like everyone that takes up the surfing and stuff, you took up surfing?
Well, I took up surfing, but
you surfed? Yeah,
I was. And then I just got over that, and then just fucking, I'd rather see what's underwater.
Yep. That's an addictive sport too. Like, it's similar. It is hunting to a degree. Like when you get good at it and you start being able to dive deeper and your breath holds longer, and you start playing games with fish and trying to get those, like trying to harvest those fish that are sort of super like winky with people elusive. And shit. Yeah, like moo and Spangled Emperor and all those weird fucking. Yeah. What are you down this way? Like I don't know. I've never speared down here. What are you chasing? Like kingfish and snapper and.
Yeah, like we're smashing 20-kilo kingfish off the rocks in front of us.
Float lines
in
and stuff?
Bondi.
Holy.
Yeah. So that was like when the season's good, which is now. They're starting to get them now.
Yep.
Mate got an 18.6 kilo or something last week off around here. So yeah, the kings come through pretty good this time of year. The big ones. Then they go more like kind of smaller schools when it comes hotter.
Yeah.
But you get the big ones kind of travelling around now, and then later on the way back.
And are you targeting those on like shooting on reels or shooting them on float line?
Just got a float line.
Yeah, and just have someone
Old
hang on.
school.
Yep, that's the
Yeah,
go.
I love it.
And float line on a breakaway?
No.
No, just
float
on the
line.
gun.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, let the gun go.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully it's attached properly.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I like my rubbers. I'm not a roller fan or anything. I just like the old school way.
Simple.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I've got a 110 roller that I use, and it's been amazing. But I've just got a normal, like most of my island guns, like an 850, 800, and I just a murky water gun. It's a double 16 mil, super punchy. You can shoot barrel with it and all that sort of stuff. And it's like pretty much my favourite gun. I wish it was longer.
Yeah.
It's just a custom build.
Yeah, I got a couple of 1.2s and 1.3s, which have been great.
Proper cannons.
Yeah, and then done a few 1.1s were pretty good, but yeah, nothing under that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, you're shooting that like open water, blue water style stuff.
Yeah, a couple
down here.
of closer stuff with the jewfish and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But we're usually travelling a bit for those.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's that like? Are they, because fishing for them online is like hard as fuck.
Yeah.
As far as I've never chased them, but as far as I understand, they're pretty difficult. But
there's heaps here.
Yeah,
I've caught a couple of small ones on the line.
Yep.
That's as good as I've got.
Yeah, right.
That's the plan, to actually become good at that, I reckon.
Yep.
Just plenty out the front river. People are getting metre-long pluses on the daily. So
Jesus. And you going to try and spear them?
I've speared them, but not here.
Yep.
I've speared them in a bit more open water.
Yep.
But always around those estuaries, mouths.
They seem pretty
tend
chill.
to come in and out.
When you dive, they seem pretty like semi-inquisitive. Like they'll school up sort of near you and have a look. And
we've had like proper vortexes swim around us in like schools of hundreds of 20-kilo fish.
Unreal.
Which were fucking amazing experiences.
Yeah, right. And do you head north to spearfish at all?
Yeah, I do a bit. It's been a bit all around. So from south and from Tassie pretty much to the top.
Yep.
Yeah, to the Coral Sea.
Holy.
Done it. Yeah.
Favorite location or favorite spot?
I do love the Bunker Group and the Coral Sea and all that area.
You chase dogtooth or any crazy shit?
Yeah, done a bit of that. I lost 2 in Christmas Island. So I lost probably a 70 kilo, and the other one was probably close to that as well.
Fuck, you'd know that.
2 within 2 days.
Man.
Buying a new Adreno slip tip, and it had a fucking wire trace to a fucking ball, and the ball popped off.
No way.
Yeah, started making that shit in China or something.
Oh. Spewing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the old school way is just a wire trace, have it done properly, and
Yep. Straight through the shaft. Yep.
But we had 3 atmosphere floats on and everything went under, and come back up the first time, had him like kind of shaking on the reef, and I was like, they're all like, yeah, you've got him. I was already pictured me on the boat with this fish. And I was like, yeah.
Double gill.
Yeah. And then he had second gear and just like a fucking bus, whole float, everything under. I was like, I let go, by about, I think went a couple of meters under. I was like, he's not, fuck this. He's not stopping.
Yeah.
But then it must have popped off or got eaten by sharks or.
Yeah. It's that shit's next level, man. Like 2-3 atmosphere floats, and like
it doesn't phase them when they get to that zone.
No, and you can run as long a float line as you want, man. Like, and they'll just drown them, mate. Just tombstone and across. Like your first one just shoots under straight away, and then like you hit them, and then they sort of shake a little bit, and they're like, "What the fuck's going on?" And they're like, "Nah, I'm out of here." Boom.
Yeah.
And they fight dirty too, like go dive into the reef and just go
exactly.
deep, dank fuckers.
Yeah, the first one I shot was like, he just kind of went straight down, and that was when he popped off and all that sort of shit. Then the day after was pretty much this thing just came up to the flasher. And I was like, I went down, I was like, fuck it, this is it.
Yep.
And then popped him, and he was like, when they get that shake, they're like vibrating. He came up on the reef. I'm like,
he's done. Yeah,
even my friend beside me, she was like, you've got this. This is an awesome shot. I'm like, fucking awesome. And then just like, fuck you.
Straight down, yeah.
There it goes.
70 kilos is a big fish.
Well, who knows what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, but still big by the sounds of it. Like, they get a couple of 100 kilos as far as I'm aware, but, like, to spear, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's been done. Like, I don't know what the spear... I don't know what world records and shit are. I don't really keep track, but I've seen some fucking monsters.
Yeah, there's some big ones getting out.
Man. Yeah, I do a lot of diving up home. It's I find it quite therapeutic too, especially in summer up there. Like, you're getting 38 degrees, 100% humidity, and the last thing you want to be doing is sitting on a boat fucking fishing.
Yeah,
Rather be in the water swimming.
Spearfishing over fishing any day.
I
get too bored.
Yeah.
I'd rather be under the water and fucking do something productive.
Yep.
Not just sit there and just have a line in the water. It gets me, I'm no good at fishing, but I like to hang out with people that can fish, so when I do go fishing, I can catch fish. But I'd rather spearfish any day.
Yep, I'm the same. It's like I cut my teeth in the fishing industry, I guess, and then the two types of fishing I pretty much do these days is fly fishing, just because it's super challenging.
Yeah.
Same reason I'm into bow hunting, basically exactly the same reason, and then spear fishing pretty much is my three big things, and I think they all hold similar value.
Yeah, definitely.
Biggest mistakes that you see people make with wild game, just general people that hunt and muck around that try and eat game, talk about eating game, all that sort of stuff.
I guess it would be just cooking, not cooking it properly, depending on what they're cooking or how they're cooking it, how they've aged it. That would be the biggest thing.
If people didn't have the ability to dry age, like
yeah, but you can. There's a lot of other different things you can do. Like, as I said, wet age. So just put it in a bag. Like, you can still dry age stuff in a fridge. Put it on a rack. Just put it in over a little rack so it can drain a little blood if it has to.
Yep.
And just, whatever you can fit in the fridge, fit it in there. You can dry age it just with the space you've got. But then, depends how you put it in there. Skin on, skin off. The skin off, you just have to trim it off a little. It gets kind of like a leather kind of outside, so you just trim that off later.
And is it hair on?
You can do either.
Yeah.
But if you got the space, hair on, definitely.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think, as I said, I used to be the other way around with the skin off all the time.
Yep.
But then got converted with the hair on.
Yeah,
just
right. Because
of that, it doesn't get the leather skin. When you take the skin off in 2 weeks' time, it's fresh and there's no bits you have to trim off. So you've got a lot more room to play.
And there's no issues there with like the bacteria side of things. Like I know with fish, like I'm not super savvy with it, but like I know you're supposed to descale everything. Or
I haven't had the issues, no.
No,
I haven't heard too much about it.
Yeah, right.
But
and it works.
I don't pay too much attention about all that sort of stuff.
Just do what works.
You hear a lot about it, and people say you can't eat that. That's got this. That's got that. There's a lot of talk about that, and I think that's a big one in Australia, with I guess almost fear mongering. It's like like wild pig in Australia. They can count how many diseases they've got, but we shoot them here and we send them overseas. So why can we shoot them here and send them overseas, but we're not eating them? And everyone else you hear, even venison, kangaroo, you name it, people always say, "Oh, but that's got this, that's got that." It's like
everything has everything. Like
exactly.
Cattle have foot and fucking mouth.
Exactly. And then they say that to deer now as well, and it's just little things like that sort of stuff where they just keep saying. I think a lot more of that's getting spread around than anything.
Yep.
So every time someone hears wild game, like rabbits, you name it, mixie, everything else this government's put into it, ever since they decided it was a pest because they've made that as a pest. Then we try to poison them, as they've done with most things. But I've been eating rabbit since I was 16.
Kid.
Yeah,
right.
So
with pig, like wild boar or wild pig, is there precautionary measures that you take?
Yeah, well, definitely. Like, there's always, if you look at an animal and it looks sick or doesn't look well,
Don't fucking kill it. Or kill it and leave it.
Yeah, kill it and then have a look at it as well.
Yeah.
But there's always a couple of signs, like if you're going to gut it, check the liver and all that sort of stuff. But if it looks like a pig, I guess depends what area they're in. Like if it's nice prime area with lots of grass and everything else, they're probably eating quite well. But if it's dry, it's drought and there's dead animals everywhere, they're probably eating all those dead animals.
Yeah.
So it really depends on what they're eating as well.
When you cook it, do you try and cook it over a certain temperature for a certain amount of time, all that sort of stuff?
Venison, no, never. I always cook it like rare. I let it raw. Doesn't bother me. Pig, I'll always cook it, yes.
Yeah.
But again, searing kills most of the bacteria. But it depends on some of the pigs' transmissions and that they can get. Like they can get it through the urine and all that sort of stuff. So cooking it. Sometimes not even cooking it will get it out. But Depends.
Yeah.
Depends what it is. There's so many out there that they've put on the pigs and all that sort of stuff. But anytime I see a nice healthy one, I'll shoot it and eat it.
Yep.
And I've had no problem.
Yeah. I think it tastes quite nice, and it's not even similar at all really to like farm pig. I don't reckon.
No, not at all. It's a lot more lean.
It's
kind of
super
like
lean.
It's like a cross between a venison and a farm pig, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a weird mix.
Yeah, it's like strong flavour, but it's not like it's not like pork. Like it's hard to explain, I guess, unless you eat it. But it's definitely not like farm pig. Do you do anything with fish? With do you dry age or prep your fish? Or?
Yeah, I'll hang them and dry age them a bit. Again, that's kind of where I learnt that as well. Like I'd always have like a little gastro with a rack, so you can always, if you don't have space to hang them, you just put them on that, so you can still have some air circulation around it.
Yep.
And you can dry it out a bit that way, and then fill it off later on.
Do you descale and skin or just gill and gut?
Usually just gut.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll leave gills on and that sort of stuff. Doesn't bother me.
Okay.
Depends.
Yeah. Right.
So
No, that's all interesting because I'm into it. I love eating like shit. I've shot, caught, all that sort of stuff. It's epic. I'm keen to tap into this dingo chat because like it's super interesting because you've got two pure dingoes there. They eat better than most people. They're very well loved and looked after. Where did you get your interest in those?
I've always just loved them. I think I've just always been a fan of Australia and our native animals, the ones we've got, even the ones that have got the bad rap, like the dingo. They're the only apex predator Australia actually has. So it's just been another thing with the government, I think, definitely. Because we've got the farm industry and everything else, it's all come down to livestock. So, they're a threat. They have to do something. And it's all been, I think it's a lot. Some places are protected, other places are classified as a wild dog. They're the same fucking animal. On my opinion, my thoughts, it's just like, everyone's like, that's a wild dog. I'm trying to convert people in just thinking a little different, but it's hard, especially in the hunting community, because all the farmers want them shot as well. So if you got access to a private property and they're like, you have to shoot them, what are they going to do? They're going to shoot them. I understand they need to be managed around private properties, but we also 1080 poison them in national parks and everything else, which is fucked. This country's still way behind. Most other countries have banned all the poisons we're using, and we're still using it. So
yeah, well, there's what did I see something the other day that like not 1080 but like glyphosate for weed killing and stuff, and then 1080, like both of those things have been linked to like carcinogens and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, there's so many. They're doing the fire ants up near Queensland now. You heard about that?
No.
Spraying from fucking planes
What?
into people's backyards, killing the dogs, killing native parrots. It's on the Save the Bees page. I've been following them a lot, and
Jesus.
they're killing everything. And
in residential areas.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be doing it, but they're still doing it. They're trying to kill the fire ant, which they're never going to get rid of. We've made these mistakes already, this country, and everything we've introduced. Poison's not going to be the fix of it. We've got to think of other ways to do it. So
it has to be management, right? Like you're never going to extinct
that's all it comes
a
down
thing,
to.
right?
Yeah.
And we're full of feral, like every country. And you can call it feral, but it's feral based on because we bought it there, right?
This country extincts our own animals, the natives.
Yeah, by
We've extincted a few.
Legit. I read a piece the other day. A friend of mine who's a photographer shared an article on, and I can't remember what bird it was, but in the country somewhere there was
Swift parrot.
wind farm.
Is that the Swift parrot?
Yeah,
the recent one
with the wind farms or something. It was some bullshit. It might have been that. I don't think it went extinct or whatever, or it was a threatened species. I should have pulled it up. I should have remembered what it was. But there's a wind farm getting built, basically, and it's right in the migratory path.
Yeah, that is the Swift parrot where the dingoes are eating the cats.
Yeah,
saving the actual parrot. If the dingoes weren't there, the cats would have killed them.
Well, there you go. It's multifaceted.
So all the dingo scat, they've done the research on it. It's all cat remains. So they're actually eating the fucking cats.
Well, that's handy.
So, and there's only a small pocket left of them. Yeah, and they're trying to do a mine or a wind farm there or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're trying to do mines as well and wind farms.
Yeah, well, the piece I read was about this parrot, and it's in the migratory path of the breeding path of this bird, and instead of moving the wind farm, and I don't know how hard that is and all that sort of stuff, but instead of doing that, they're going to pay X amount of dollars. I can't remember what it was, but X amount of dollars per parrot that was killed.
That's going to make it better, is it?
What the fuck? Like,
put it on the extinct list. Move on.
Must be to what, some bird association or conservation mob. I don't know. Like, the article I read was, if it was true, it was fucking weird, man. Like,
well, I've just seen that over the last week or so. This the government's doing some, what is it? The nature. Have you seen that?
nah.
They're doing some new bill or some shit for some bullshit about nature, trying to protect nature. It's like, well, ever since, this is a good one actually, the bushfires, everything we've had over the last few years with the floods, everything, it all started with the bushfires, you know, ripped through the whole country, fucking almost eliminated everything. You know, they had all those fundraisers for the koalas.
Yep.
As soon as the bushfires went and the fucking COVID went, they started logging those places with the koalas, and they've got those videos of the trucks pushing them from the trees. It's like, how many people donated to the koalas, and now you're bulldozing them from fucking trees, and people are getting on film. This government does not give a fuck about anything or anyone apart from themselves. They don't care about the nature.
Nah.
They don't give a fuck about any animal species on here, as we've seen.
Yeah.
Not even the natives. They don't care.
Do you think it's a lack of understanding?
Oh, this government's fucked.
I think most of them are across the board, with just lack of...
There's got to be some sort of leeway and some sort of protection.
Yeah.
But that's, I think that was a big eye-opener for people when they saw that.
I hope so. Cause
I hope so too. But so was COVID.
Yeah. Fuck, man. That was fucked on so many levels worldwide. But I think it's this lack of willingness to understand too, because it's not hard to connect with the people, like everyday people I'm talking, right?
Yeah.
Like, the minority groups are the ones that are the loudest.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that listen. It's either, in my opinion, it's rich corporations, mining groups and stuff that contribute, even though they don't really pay tax, but contribute
to the football teams and everything.
Legit. Yeah, contribute.
Santos.
Yeah, legit. Like, contribute financially to the country, to export, to whatever you want to call it, that sort of industry-based stuff. And then you've got the minority groups that have the loudest voice. Whatever they are, like far left, far right, doesn't make a difference. The government seem to listen or inject attention to those groups versus everyday Australians that are doing everyday jobs.
Yeah.
And it heavily impacts those people. And conservation and how we manage our wildlife, how we manage our wild game, and how we manage our feral animals is like a huge contributor to that too. Like, a lot of people fish and hunt and are camping and in the outdoors and all that sort of stuff. And they don't seem to get heard. And you'll get park rangers and shit that'll go and fucking find some bastard for doing, like, making a mistake that they didn't even realise.
Yeah.
Versus actually spending money and effort on actually trying to tackle big ticket items. Like, the illegal animal trade in Australia is insane.
Yeah.
Insane. And it seems like they just put out spot fires, like they'll find a problem and deal with it, and that's it. Like, there's a whole syndicate of black market trade for wildlife across the world.
No, I think the big, like, the zoos and everything, they're the worst.
100%.
Yeah. You can go there, but I won't.
Yeah, and I could go into the illegal wildlife trade a bit too, but I won't. But yeah, I just think there's a massive disconnect between, like, everyday Australians and the government.
Yeah.
And the government seems to just listen to the loudest voice, which is normally
who's paying them money.
Literally, either paying them money or the most squeaky wheel, like, that are fucking whinging about shit that really in the big picture doesn't matter. Like, hurt my feelings and fucking I feel this certain way about this thing and I'm going to kick up a stink about it. So that the government, to make themselves look good, will do something about it in the public eye. Like, that shit's so wrong in my opinion.
Yeah.
And how do you change it, I guess?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one, and it's not getting any better at the moment. It's only getting worse. So
I try not to go down these rants too much because it's just so fucking hard. Like, and there's so many people, so many different opinions, and I just couldn't be fucked having the conversation all the time. Circling back to like, what are you trying to achieve? Anything in particular on the front of sharing wild game with people and like promoting its correct use and all that sort of stuff?
Well, I guess I'd love to see it used more, and not a incentive for the government to send up shoppers and pay our spend our taxpayers' money to shoot them and leave them on the ground to rot as they do with everything else. Like you could be even setting up some national parks where hunters could pay how many hunters pay their licenses, their fees, their state forests, you name it. Open another one. Hunters will pay it.
100%.
So why not?
Yeah.
Why send shoppers up? We'll give you money to go hunt them.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, why are you spending all our taxpayers' money, which we don't fucking want this?
Yeah.
And some of those choppers that go up and say, I've shot 2,041 deer, and they take 9 shots to shoot one deer and still leave them alive on the ground.
Yeah, crawling around on their front legs.
Which we've seen those videos now.
From SA.
Yeah,
Holy.
how good was that?
Brutal, man. So cruel.
How many shots did you hear? How many deer did you see go down?
Mm.
And deer that have been sitting there for over a week, still alive.
Starving to death.
Yeah, just breathing.
It's disgusting.
Yeah,
really.
and the Greens are probably fucking paying for that as well, are they?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I've heard they're doing a lot of the culls.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the Greens, they're the worst. They are the worst. I used to be supportive.
Yeah, right.
No more.
No more?
No.
Yeah, right.
You try to vote for people in the parliament that you think, that'll do you well, but no. They're all as bad as each other.
I was literally
I figured that out now.
It's a loss whichever you vote
40
for.
years to get to that fucking point, and I'm like, no. Nobody cares.
Donkey vote is the play, you reckon? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Jesus. So are you with Bush River Kitchen and what you're doing here, and what you're planning to do? Like, we had a discussion offline with you're keen to start trying to open this up and promote a little bit more and do some more events and things here. Do you think is that what message you're going to try and promote, I guess, or do you think that most of your customer base here will be those people that already appreciate wild game?
Not all of them have been, so it's been a bit of a mix since we've opened it, and it's been good, good feedback, and I always promote the wild game, and that's how I promote my menus. When I do menus, it's always wild game, or fish, or something I've caught, or a friend's caught. We do a lot of bartering with other friends that if they're fishing more than me, I'll give them venison, they'll give me fish, and we'll change a lot. So
that's the most primitive that's the most primitive economy that exists. That's how it is.
Bartering.
It's always been. It has 100%. Just trading and sharing food with each other and all that sort of stuff, and playing on each other's skill sets and things. What do you want to build Bush River Kitchen into?
It's not something that I want to build into something huge. It's just what I want to do and how I want to see myself, and kind of it's a plan that if it gets me going out what I want to do and making a living out of it, that's my dream. That's all I want. So that's what I've gone down this route for. It was something that this is what I do and this is me, and if it works and it gets me out hunting more, well, it's a win-win. That's all I care about.
That makes.
I'm also promoting the wild game, but it's for me.
Yeah, true. Nice. I love that. I'm looking forward to seeing sort of what comes of it all once you do finally get settled in here, because you've got big plans for the rest of the place too, don't you? Like,
yeah, still getting slowly building it up and getting a few bit extra add-ons, and yep. So,
well, do you think, and that's just curiosity of mine, is like, do you think you run like multi-day things here, curiosity, like accommodation wise and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, we spoke about a few accommodation things and getting some. I've got a glamping tent there I've got to set up, but we're on a bit of a hill here, the Hawkesbury. But yeah, we're working on that, and I've got a few rooms now ready. So
yep, and this is just a really good opportunity for me to have a yarn to you. Like, I've known you for a little bit now, but down here working with like blood origins and stuff, what Robbie's promoting, I guess, directly aligns with the message that you're sending with putting hunting in, or like telling the truth about it, I guess. Yeah, man, we can go to the toilet. Yeah, we can have a toilet break. I'll pause it right now.
Right.
We back on? Yeah, we're back.
Back?
We're back.
Yeah.
We're back. Both needed a bathroom break. We were just touching on blood origins, and I'm obviously here grabbing a piece for Robbie that sort of he wants to promote, which is blood origins, for people that don't know, is like essentially the message is telling the truth about hunting and put hunting into the wider public eye and give people like the literally the truth about it, not to try and like make it biased and say it is good, it is bad, it is this, it is that. It's just tell the truth about hunting across the globe, I guess. And I assume like have you known Robbie for a while?
I think we've been talking for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And I love his work, and it's just he's kind of standing up for everyone and everyone's rights, and people like that, we need more of them.
Yeah, and it seems like it's what I like about it. It's not a biased message where he's not like a far right or even a mid-right person that's like trying to promote hunting. He's just
giving the facts.
Yeah, giving the facts about it, and literally it works in hunters and outdoorsmen's favour, because the truth about hunting is the good people, the people that actually appreciate it, are the ones that actually are like huge conservationists and big on sustainability and eat a lot of what they cook and don't just kill for no reason and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Like, people just see that one side of it, and it's just like, a person in front of an animal and, as a trophy. But what's a trophy? A trophy for me is the whole thing.
Yeah, legit.
So it's a good understanding for some people to I guess he reaches a lot, especially the Africa and stuff and all that sort of stuff. It's like, it's crazy, but if you didn't have those hunters, half those animals probably would be extinct.
Exactly.
And if you didn't have those corporations doing that sort of stuff, they're doing more conservation work over there than people know, and people need to know about it, because we know how Africa is and all the poaching, the black market, all that sort of stuff. So, if they didn't have these people that would breed animals to hunt, that people pay crazy amounts of money for, that keeps it going.
Legit. And the crazy amounts of money that go into that sort of stuff. And normally it's like in Africa anyway, my understanding is like, I've never hunted there, but my understanding is like it's problem animals, or it's really old animals, or it's animals that don't like are so old that they're not really breeding, and that's killing younger male animals, like all that sort of stuff.
Exactly. They've been through their prime.
Yeah.
That's
sorry.
Yeah, no, that's exactly where I was going.
Yeah, and then like the thing with the trophy hunting side of it too, right, is like, you've got a big red deer on your wall right above my head, like, but that deer, like, to get to that size and stuff, it is old. Like it's at the later stages of its life, where it's not gonna have too many more years left in it anyway. So like you're selectively culling, when you do it the right way, you're selectively culling those animals and letting younger deer like grow and build, using deer as an example, but like letting them sort of grow to an age, and like it's sort of protecting the species to a degree, but it's also managing it from a sustainability conservation perspective. Because in my opinion, I'm the same as you. It's like feral animals, fucking here to stay. If they ever get rid of pigs, the rest of Australia will be extinct
and
too.
Foxes and everything else.
Not a
cats and
chance,
everything else.
Man.
Yeah.
Not a fucking chance. Like there's so much more stuff, like water bar flow, all that sort of stuff. If you see where those fucking animals go, you're not a chance of culling them.
I think that's a good one as well. Like when you see them in that habitat, it's like they're here to stay.
Yeah.
It's when you're actually out there in it, it's like, well,
legit.
Yeah. Good luck trying to kill them.
Yeah. Well, in Hawaii, like, and I remember reading this piece ages ago. It's like the local Hawaiian people, excuse me, the local Hawaiian people like blow up about killing pigs.
Yeah.
For
conservation. Well, that's like pigs are like their main source of food as well.
Yeah.
They love it.
They're like, well, they've been here longer or as long
Yep.
as humans in general. So, like, leave them alone.
Yeah.
And, like, when are we going to draw the line with, like, yeah, it's not native, but, like, they've been around for fucking ever. Like, and they'll be here to stay. And that's just there's nothing stopping, maybe not larger animals and stuff, but, like, what's stopping a fucking I don't know, some foreign mouse from overseas floating on a log over here and populating the joint. You know what I mean?
That's it.
They were going to get here one way.
But it's
or
like
another.
the dingo is a good one. Back to the dingo. They've said that it's originated from Asia, but still 6,000 years ago.
Yeah,
it's classified as a native animal here.
Yeah,
and there's still people out there like, it's fucking introduced. It's like
is
6,000 years. Yeah, you tell me how long you've been here for, and everyone else. Come back to me. Yeah. People are so fucking stupid. No offense to anyone that's listening, but open your eyes a bit, have a look around, and it's just crazy.
100%. Is white man feral in Australia?
Oh yeah, because we're an introduced fucking species.
Legit. If you're gonna go out there and you're gonna say that, and view feral animals in Australia that way. Same. And I'm not saying like pigs fuck the environment and deer fuck the environment.
We fuck the environment more.
Exactly.
We brought them all in.
Legit. Like we're more to blame than anything.
Yeah,
and they don't know they're feral.
Yeah.
But if you're going to take that view,
neither do some people.
That's the truth. If you're going to take that view on animals, you can take that view on humans as well, which essentially we're animals.
Yeah.
Like we've just advanced to a point where we've built boats and gone and fucking feral subspecies of humans, for example, have gone and populated, and fucking we're responsible for more genocide and more fucked up shit than any other animal.
We've made all these problems.
Man.
We've made it. That man has made all these fucking problems. And now you're trying to eradicate them, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that with other fucking shit poisons and so on. It's like, we're the fucking problem.
Why not accept the fact that it's fucked, right? Accept the fact
and manage it, control it, and
Why don't we spend some money on water buffalo, because or pigs, I have reasonable knowledge of it, so I'll talk to that, but erosion control, and they muddy up a lot of waterways and cause problems with plants. And
half the farmers here still don't fence off rivers and livestock get in there, so
and
it's the whole system.
Livestock's just as fucking bad, to be honest.
They do just as bad.
Legit.
Yeah.
So why don't we instead of spending money on fucking buckets and buckets of 1080 and high caliber rifles to shoot out of helicopters and pay for helicopter fuel and people in fucking positions, why aren't we paying money? Why isn't the government or us or whatever paying money and investing money in management of it instead of trying to eradicate something that is ineradicatable? Unless you're going to fucking nuke Australia, there's not going to go anywhere.
It. And the stuff they're using is only going to eradicate more animals. There's a fucking...
And the collateral, right? The collateral, 1080 is non-discriminative.
No, it's only targets this one animal. It's
fucking hawks, crows.
Eagles, I've seen videos of eagles dead. I've seen, you name it. Everything else that eats the 1080.
It's just...
the lizards, the goannas, you name it. There's always something out there.
Yeah, baited grain. Yeah. Baited grain, everything eats that sort of shit. You're getting, Australian marsupials are already under so much pressure from, small mammals and marsupials from cats and shit like that. And there's, baited grains and all that sort of stuff. And then, habitat destruction. And habitat destruction is going to continue too.
Yeah.
So why not manage it better and invest money in managing it instead of throwing tens of hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars at dead-end things, short-sighted things that are just going to be good for the government today. And we did this, and we reduced the population of deer by X amount, and we've saved farmers X amount of dollars, which is all well and good. But then we've also left... They don't say... that. This is the point they don't say. 2 million tons of pure prime venison and left animals to die and starve to death.
And not just that, they're making a bigger problem with the other animals. Everything else is eating off those.
I'm about to say the exact same
pigs, thing. The foxes, you name it, the cats, they're all eating that.
So then their population goes through the fucking roof, and then you've got a cat problem. It's like the cane toad saga, right? You had that fucking cane beetle, and then you go and bring those stupid fucking toads over here because you thought it was a good idea, and now we've got a problem with toads. It's just it's so short-sighted.
I was having this conversation the other day. Why did they bring this species in? Why did they bring the European carp? We were talking about that. Me and my brother were talking about that the other day. Why the fuck did that get introduced? And now it's in every waterway and we can't get fucking rid of it. And it's but we're releasing trout. And it's but the DPI, they fucking promote all that shit. It's oh look, we've released 2,000 fucking rainbow trout. It's why?
Yeah. There's a season. There's fishing licenses in some places.
Well, in New South Wales, there used to be seasons as well, but then they put them on the feral species list. How long is that going to be until the trout are on that?
Hmm.
You know, they're fucking taking over all the natural habitat of the Murray cod and the perch.
Yeah.
They're up for one thing, and we're still releasing them, but we're eradicating other things. It's like, well,
Yeah. And
you can't have one or the other.
And they disregard the fact that everything's connected, right? Like the point you make about the fallow deer in SA getting shot to shit. Like the amount of carcasses and stink and fucking diseases and shit that promotes. And then all of the other feral animals, like pigs and all that shit.
On it.
Yeah. And then you've got an explosion of those population. And then all that shit's going to run out. And then they're going to have a real good season, breed up. And then all of those fucking animals are going to starve to death because unless they keep shooting more deer to feed them. Like, where does it stop? It's fucking insane. And you can go on and on.
Doesn't stop. It's never going to stop.
Bash head against the wall. I try not to think about it too much because it just fucking does me in.
I've tried to kind of,
How do people like that with like, that sit at that kind of level, right? When Joe Blow, like I'm not a fucking smart person.
Yeah.
Can come up with like common sense scenarios like that. How the fuck? And like they still get away with it because like you, me and everybody knows that it's wrong, but you can't do nothing about it. Same as these gun laws in WA.
Yeah. Half the people making these rules don't know anything about it. They're just like, yeah, fuck it. It's a threat to someone or something. Let's just keep it on there.
Yeah. Well, we literally, like, on the shuttle bus to get to the high car, there's a couple of older blokes from the bush. We were talking about, one of them's from WA, and we're talking about the gun laws that they've got, like cracking down on like safe builds, and a lot of people have got to throw their safes out and get new safes, and
what's happening in WA for make that happen?
That's what I mean.
Nothing's happened over there.
Yeah. So for context, for those people that aren't aware, and I've only just learned this today, so don't cruel me if I get the facts wrong, but you have to have written permission from a farmer to access a property to hunt. That farmer has to be registered with the police or whatever division of that is in WA. Then that area of land gets assessed by fuck knows, some pencil pusher, to say, oh, there's only foxes on it or rabbits on it. So therefore, the only gun license that you can get is up to a 223 or a 17 or whatever else, right? For what? No one uses. There's no fucking pistols and shit here or like semi-autos or anything worse than that where people are shooting people like America. And there's no like, I don't know, fucking Ivan Milat was the last person I heard of that. No, not Ivan Milat. What was that school shooting dude?
The Tassie guy.
That guy.
Fucking.
Not
Trevally and Peas, what's his name?
That's him. That's him. Not fucking Ivan.
Chopper Reed did that. Martin.
That's him.
Yeah.
Not Ivan Milat. Ivan Milat was that fucking prostitute killer, wasn't he? Took him out in the bush and shit.
Yeah, he took him to Belungalo State Forest. That's where I go forage mushrooms.
Fuck. Yeah, like, where's the logic? And like, what? And the bit that pisses me the most about it, right, is the amount of money and time invested in trying to do that shit for no gain.
Yeah.
Why can't you invest that money and time into something that actually matters and actually matters more to the people? Because there's fuck all wild game in WA anyway. Camels. Stinking camels. And what else is there? Fuck, do I know? Foxes probably, and a few pigs cats. And scrub balls. Cats everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's just such a unnecessary thing, right? But because
it's a bit weird that they've gone like that, and it's like scary, really.
It is, man.
So it's going to happen.
It's a matter
every
of
other
time.
state.
It's a matter of time.
Yeah.
But like they get, I don't know, they get a bee in their bonnet like it has to happen because guns are bad. No, guns aren't bad. People are fucking bad with guns.
Back to the shit people.
Yeah, legit.
We're the ones that are fucked.
Yeah, and Australia's got pretty good gun laws. Like I think it's fine. Like, and New Zealand had it until they went crazy. But like I think we're fine, and I think like America's probably over the top with too loose with their gun laws, and you could refine that to a point, and that'd probably stop a lot of the fucking things. But then point was made in the car too about like it being a mental health issue, not a gun issue as well, and that's a whole nother take on it as well.
Also what the government's kind of created.
Yeah.
But yeah, saying that was like when that massacre happened down in Tasmania, everyone's like, oh shit, okay, maybe they are bad. Everyone handed them back in. Like we didn't even think twice. We're like, okay, well,
yeah,
there it is.
Yeah.
But
because it made sense.
But to what point does it's going to get to that point? Like
they keep squeezing it, and
exactly.
then
what was the last thing that happened? I know a couple of knife attacks or some other random shit that's happened, but the last time someone massacred however many people in Australia?
Yeah. I couldn't tell you.
No.
Not in my lifetime.
It's not every weekend at a school like in America.
No.
It's fucking it hardly happens. And
Yeah.
we are lucky.
Legit.
But yeah.
I think our gun laws are quite reasonable, really.
I think so, definitely. And, we all obey by them, but when they start taking them away, it's... I think it's just, at what point does it stop?
And, yeah, it's...
The bow hunting as well.
Legit.
We're back to that.
It's... Yeah, and that's the bit that I'm sort of scared of. Like, we've been sort of in the shadows, just still been able to operate. Like, I consider myself a bow hunter, not a rifle hunter. Been sort of living in the shadows because rifle hunters have been taking all the heat.
Yeah.
So we've just sort of poked along and done our own thing, and it's been totally fine. But now, like, hunting in general is just bad.
Yeah, but bow hunting as well, you don't need a license or anything.
No, I literally, like, get questioned at the airport, and they're like, oh, what's in that pelican case? I'm like, oh, it's a bow. Oh, it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe,
The fucking arrows and the broadheads are still in the box.
Yeah. It's more deadly than a fucking gun.
And it's quiet.
But
I can go into the toilet, load it up, and be done with you.
Yeah. I understand that people don't want them, but it's like spearfishing.
Yeah.
Still a fucking weapon.
Dude, legit.
Put a license onto it. Put a permit onto it. Whatever. But
and I'd pay it if it went back into the industry
if
itself.
it actually went back into it. Yeah.
That's the problem. Like fishing licenses, in the territory, they've been trying to bring up fishing licenses in Queensland. They have too. And there's like the general public are blowing up about it. But I am like, well, if it goes into making better boat ramps and boat parking, wash down facilities, all that sort of stuff, I'll pay a fishing license. I'll pay $100 a year, no dramas.
Yeah.
Because the laws are still there in regards to the fish themselves and how you operate your boat and all that sort of thing.
We had that big one in Sydney a few years back where they tried to lock us all out and make Sydney into a marine park. Scientific.
Yep.
They said it was. So it was science-based. Somebody shoots a groper and everyone freaks out. But they try to lock the whole of Sydney up, try to make it a marine park.
Yeah.
But they still leave shark nets out, fucking deadlines. It's like, we're not the problem.
Yeah. I've worked for both state and federal government, and I can fucking tell you now, there is not enough money. They all operate on pennies.
Yeah.
And there is not enough money to do half the things that they say that they're justified to do.
Yeah.
Because they haven't done the proper R&D. It's just not true. And it fucking gives you the shits. And they've pulled the wool over the public's eyes because most people are sheep and they watch the fucking news.
Yeah. Those days are over.
Well, they're getting close, man. Mainstream media's got to do it.
I don't watch it.
No.
Haven't been.
I can't remember last time I
watching
turned
it for years,
mate. Yeah, I know it's a sticky subject. It's hard, like, because you get so stuck into it, then you end up getting on a rant, and it achieves nothing anyway. You just get up getting mad.
Looking back at growing up, it was always people would sit there and watch the 6 o'clock news and all that sort of shit, and it's like, no, it's all over for me. Those days are over. It's just like the shit you hear, the shit you just pushed down your throat.
Yeah, and 90% of it's either half truths or twisted truths, or not
media,
true. Or to suit an agenda, right?
Yeah. It's two sides from every story, but they don't care about those two sides. They only care about their side.
No, the bit that hurts the most is, like, it's fucked up and it's wrong.
Yeah.
Talk about COVID. Talk about the pharmaceutical industry. Talk about big corporations not paying tax. Talk about whatever you want. Like, you can't do fuck all about it. We're lucky to get like the closure of that Sydney marine area. That was lucky. I think, like, that's a rarity that got over the line and the public were able to push back hard enough for it to not.
Yeah, I think that kind of really pushed people, and it was like I did the march down bloody
we
pushed
it off in Queensland because I was heavy in the fishing industry at that time, and like it was blowing up in Queensland. Like, we were all like, get behind it, and there was petitions coming out the wazoo, like, to try and push back on the government, and like they obviously didn't care about the fucking science enough.
Well, there was no science there. It was a pile of shit.
Yeah.
It got proven.
Exactly.
In Sydney. It was all a pile of shit.
Yeah.
And, there's stormwater drains fucking washing into the Sydney Harbour, pollution. It's like, and you want to stop us fishing when you're bringing all this pollution back into the, it was fucked. There was no science behind it. They try to say there was, and there wasn't at the end of it. It was a pile of absolute shit. So, glad that didn't go through.
Yeah, it'll be hard because I got a young daughter too, and like I wonder a lot. I sit and wonder a lot of the time, like, what life's going to look like for her when she's my age. Like I'm 33 in 31 years time for her. Like that's a long time.
Yeah.
What's changed? Like it's changed a lot because I was like just pre-internet era, and now like the how much the world's changed, if you take notice, is massive in the last 10 years, let alone 30. So what's it going to look like in 30 years time?
Hopefully we go backwards.
I hope so. It kind of needs to. I think we're like borderline on a friggin' another world war, to be honest. But
well, the rest of the world is. We're just not being part of it. We're just giving them money.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't invest. We got like that much shit that's fucked here, and we're giving money away when we need to spend it in-house and look after ourselves.
Well, that's it. They all complain that we're all in debt, but hey, let's give fucking money to everyone else.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a fucking sticky one. What's next for John Ralley?
Just live my life. Yeah, do the things that make me happy. I think that's where I want to go down. And yeah, that's what I've been doing in the last couple of years, and that's kind of why this has taken off, I guess. So
because you're passionate about it and you're invested in it, doesn't feel like work, I guess.
Well, no, and I don't want it to feel like work. It's kind of something I love, and I want to share that with people because I think more people need to see it. So that's what I try to do. Share it with others that don't get the privilege to go out and do what we do.
I think it's really good what you're doing, and I think you're promoting like being outdoors, hunting and harvesting your own food and living that way, and like promoting that kind of lifestyle in a good light. I think you're doing awesome things. How can people find you, your business, what's it all about, where you're located, all that sort of jazz?
It's all on Instagram at the moment under my name or Bush River Kitchen. So you can find me there. And I'm always happy to chat if someone wants any advice or whatever. Go from there. Send me a message.
Sounds wicked, man. We better eat all this fucking... We got some venison cooking. John's been got the fires going and the pizza oven going, and we got some delicious wild game and veggies and all sorts there, so we better go and have a feed.
Sounds good.
Thanks heaps for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Too easy. Bye, everybody.